We are blessed with so many people this week. I have been struggling for weeks, and I love all the people that have been on the weeks where there's only been 2 of us. I love you all dearly, you know that, but there's so many people this week, and I love it, and I'm so excited. But hello. Welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I'm Logan Murphy. Say something gay. And I am drinking some coffee, of course, because it's still morning for me. So I've got some coffee, hazelnut white chocolate in my gorgeous San Diego Zoo mug because I needed a large amount of coffee this morning to get through this episode of Drag Race. Yes.
Everyone, it's me, Lana, your resident evil diva. And I'm going to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I love me some tea. I am just drinking water because hydration is important. You know, gotta drink some things. But the most important thing that I have, and that we should all have and aspire to get, is our cup mug. Yeah. We have almost a plentiful cup mugs, and you know what? This is acceptable. This is acceptable for me. A panel full of cup mugs. A panel full of cup mugs. I can't get my other one to do it, so it's okay. Well, my lights it's too bright anyway to see the party, but
Right.
you can get your cup mug or any of our beautiful cup merch at LanaG'sCreations.etsy.com. That link will be in the description below, and we do ship internationally and domestically here in the United States, Canada, and Mexico, so there are no excuses. Get your cup merch, period. I mean, unless your postal service is moving a little bit slow, and then that's neither here nor there. But it's a delay, and a delay is never a deny. Period. Get your cup mugs.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I have a gorgeous shirt today. I wore a special one. This is my shirt of the Vivian. And yes, I did get it signed when I met her a couple years ago. So love this shirt. Love the Vivian. And I am just drinking some water right now.
Rest in power, girl. Love you.
Well, on that note, hi everybody, I'm Brook, and I am passionate about pop culture. And, you know, something about, you know, if you're gonna win a draft, you should show up for one of the episodes. I feel like now is a good time, you know, considering
Sure.
3 of the top 6 are on my draft team, and I still haven't lost a member yet. So, you know, we're feeling our oats right now. Besides the point, I am once again fighting against the autocracy of the Coke Zero regime with a vanilla Coke.
Period. And
And
who are you? Who's that?
you?
Who am I? All right, great. We get this nice little intro. I am Phillip. You might know me from NBC's Deal or No Deal Island. I am so excited to be here to talk about a show that is not my own. And finally, I do not have to justify my own behavior and actions. I can read someone else's. And that's what I'm here to do, to earn the cup hug. That is what I'm here to do on this day and talk to you guys about the entire franchise, the episode, everything. I'm here to bring it.
Period.
Yes.
Love it.
We are so excited to have you on for this episode of Drag Race. First and foremost, welcome back. Welcome back to the Cup, because this is not your first foray to the Cup Network. We have had you on with Lana and was it Lana and Jack or just Lana?
Yes, Lana and Jack.
To talk Deal or No Deal Island in your exit interview, because sadly you didn't win Deal or No Deal Island. We wanted you to.
But did he?
Hold on a second.
I think he did.
Who knows?
You what?
Like, what does it mean to win? If at the end of your reality TV experience, people know who you are and you're killing it on Black Twitter, who really won? You tell me.
No, you won. No, you did win. You didn't win the money, but you did win. I will give you that for sure.
Here's the thing, though. He won. He's the only one outside of the winner who won money. So he kind of ate up. Period.
Period. There we go. There we go.
He kind of ate up.
Regardless, we are excited to have you on, like you said, to talk about a show that's not your own.
It's so great. I think that one of the things that I bring to the show when I watch it. I have never done drag, put on a wig, makeup, anything. Number one, if I've ever put on a wig, my wig lines would not be showing like some of these girls. But anyway, I've never put on a wig before. But what I'm going to say is, as a musical theater person from New Jersey, I've grown up with a lot of these girls doing shows with them and so on and so forth. And what I love is the idea of a production. I love reality TV. I love being on a stage. I love a good costume, putting on a show, and that is what I'm here to bring you this episode and every episode.
As a fellow musical theater gay, I'm very excited to talk about this episode in particular because this was a very interesting challenge in the zeitgeist of Drag Race. I'm very excited to talk about it for a variety of reasons, and we will in depth. But before we do, make sure to subscribe if you've not already, because we're here almost all the time giving you almost all things drag. And make sure to subscribe across all 4 networks on the Cup Network, because we are trying to get all 4 of our channels to 1,000 subscribers by the end of this year. We're putting out content almost every single day across all of our channels. All of them are putting out some good content, so make sure to check out all of our channels. Check out the description where you can find all those links, as well as our audio podcast links and our Patreon, putting out some good content. We do have our La Mastraga refilled, coming to an end for season 1. We've got David, Eduardo, and River checking that out. And we've got Drag House Rules coming to an end here very, very soon as well. Lana and David are holding down the fort over there as well, covering that series. And Morbid Drags coming very, very soon as well, starting next week. So stay tuned for coverage for that here on this channel as well. More drag content. Thank God, because for a while it was just season 17. So
And I'm here for it all.
Yay!
David's here all the time.
We love to see it. We love to see it. But Phillip, I want to ask, because obviously we haven't had you on this season. What are you thinking of season 17 so far?
Season 17, there are some hits and misses for me as a viewer. I don't think that we've seen this much of a split between the front runners and the you should go home this week than ever. And that for me is not great, because that means that I'm able to predict at the beginning of the episode. Spoiler alert, I predicted this before the episode even started. Even this week, I was like, those 2 are going to lip sync. She's going home. I knew it. And I just think that I don't know whether we need to change the format as far as the challenges, the skill set, or whatever's happening. But when they came in, I feel like our blatant top 4 or 5 have remained pretty consistent throughout. And I don't know if that's great as a viewer. I don't think we've ever had such a great long line of drag legacy. And these girls that are so unprepared for things that happen every year, that I was like, did you not consult your family tree before you hopped on this show, or what? I don't know what's happening.
Right.
Tamar, do you watch the show?
Right.
Right.
I don't understand.
I think for me, justice for Lana, because she's doing so many brand new things that she's never done before.
Never before done.
Never before worn a whole lot of clothes
So
before.
many unique things for Lana.
She's never
before.
I love her though.
She's never walked on a runway. I don't know what's happened. I don't know.
Never before has she done that silhouette.
She clarified why so many things were unique and different for Lana on Twitter, and it's because she was not used to wearing clothes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
She was like, "Yo, I was just excited to wear clothes," and I was like, "I got it."
Honestly, I can relate.
Fair. Yeah, me too.
I cannot.
We've seen the bodybuilding.
Oh yeah, I'm about to say I cannot relate to that, but I will say that everything cannot be new. I'm sorry. I love Lana, and y'all know Lana to Lana. I was like, girl, I love you. Please stop saying that everything is new, because everything cannot be new. Just because you put on a pair of stockings this week does not make it new for you. Like, come on, my girl. I love you. But I love her so much. She was so funny in a very subtle way that it didn't translate to a lot of people on the show. And I get it. But she just did little things that you were like, okay, girl, I see you. That was kind of funny. Funny.
And as her confidence has grown over the last couple of weeks specifically, I'm like, I started falling in love with her, and I was like, no, because I walked into this week and I was like, yeah, it's likely gonna be Lana. Just based on track record, I was like, okay, I'm walking into this week. Okay, cool. But I was like, no, but I don't want it to be Lana. I don't want it to be because I really like her.
I think this is when she finally started coming into her own, and we finally started seeing her start to do things, only for it to be too late for it to, it was like a little too late for her to try to show everybody that she can do this. And I don't know. I don't
You
think
can only
I
do
think
so
these,
many things unique and different for Lana.
I think these last 2 weeks were her best weeks. I'm gonna be honest. The last 2 weeks were her best weeks.
Yeah.
But
I think when you look at queens like Lana, I'm a firm believer that like on the show, there are the girls that you're like, the show needs the girls. And then there are the other ones where you're like, no, the girls need the show. And I think that she needs the show to figure out how to break through that. Her arc almost gives me Naomi Smalls, where like she was just relying on the legs for a while. And you're like, cool, great. And then when she came back for like All-Stars, you're like, okay, I got it. The personality is there. The humor is there. The ability to poke fun at yourself is there. So like, I think it's going to be an amazing All-Stars run when it happens.
yes.
I agree completely. Brook, since we haven't had you for a recap either, what have you thought of this season so far?
Well, I agree with a lot of what Phillip said, to be honest. I've enjoyed the season, don't get me wrong. I think there are some really all the girls are talented and doing things that I could never hope of doing. But comparing it to some other Drag Race seasons, not my favorite, but not my least favorite either. I mean, I've had the top 5 clocked from the promo, I feel like, and not to be rude, note the draft team. Like, I'm just saying, like, like when you look at it, I've kind of figured. I think the only exception is Crystal Envy. I thought she was gonna, make it a lot further, and pretty much everybody else is kind of falling around where I thought they would. But at the same time, we've gotten to see some really high drags, some really high quality performances this season. So I think it's just been a pretty okay season of Drag Race, all things considered, with some really great performers helping the show thrive.
Definitely. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think it's had some really high highs and some good moments, some perfectly acceptable moments. Like I think Snatch Game was like perfectly acceptable, but I've kind of thought that way about like Snatch Game in the last couple of seasons. Like,
hot take, Snatch Game needs to take a break for a season. Like, because
never gonna happen.
I know it's never gonna happen. It's never gonna happen. But honestly, since like season 9 was the last time I thought a Snatch Game was like really, 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 really good. And ever since then, it's just kind of been like samey, floaty through, other than season 14. And even then, I don't think season 14 was that bad. So like,
I don't think 14 was that bad.
I think they need to take a season to like give the girls a pause. Maybe don't have it be the exact same format for Snatch Game, because it's not hitting the same way it used to for me.
Okay, but is it Snatch Game, or are the girls not preparing the jokes, the research, and the sense of humor that they need to? Because let's be honest, I think Rosa Parks was a good call, but we were like, you didn't hit any of the things you should have hit. Like if I said, where's Rosa Parks from? Was Lana going to be able to tell me that? I don't know. And so for
no,
me,
because the
like,
only
didn't do the research that it took.
Because the only thing she prepared was, is the bus still running?
Yeah.
That's the only thing she prepared. And
but
she thought
RuPaul
she could win Snatch Game.
RuPaul pulled an Arietti and took her one joke.
Yeah.
Well, and like, again, even if she had that one joke, to look at some past Snatch Games here, Jaden Dior Fierce had one joke on her Snatch Game. She even got to tell it multiple times. Still was in the bottom 2. So like,
I mean, you take a character like a Rosa Parks character, and you could just do anything with it, because we don't know what Rosa Parks would have said, and I would have made Rosa the baddest bitch in the place. Like you say, like, excuse me, you want me to move? Absolutely not. I'm not moving out this. Like anything that she said, I would have made Rosa Parks have hella attitude and like, you are not making me move because I will overcome. And like I'm bringing every Negro spiritual, everything. I'm like, because if Harriet Tubman was here, you wouldn't ask her to move.
I was going to take out the MTA cards, and Harriet would have been my best friend. Like there were so many
Period.
places you could go, and
You
she
could
went
go.
nowhere. She said, "No, I'm
Nowhere.
good on that."
I'm like, girl, do the little bit of research. It just takes a little Google search. That's it. You could have came up with everything. Like Martin Luther King is my brother. Malcolm X is my uncle, and like I would have went down
Right.
a list of all the things, and like you can't make me do this, and you can. I'm reaching into the future. I'm like, and don't come for me because Barack Obama will run this country. Like I'm bringing up all kind of stuff, and she would have been just like, they would have been dying. I think Rue would have been like cackling, like
Yeah.
the Rue cackle that we all know. But it's just like you said, I don't think the girls are doing the research and taking the time to do the things to make Snatch Game actually funny. I think it can still
Some of
work.
them are. There's a
Some of-
couple each season that really tap into what is needed. And we saw that specifically, I would say, with Anya this season. Anya did a really good job. That's what she won. That's what she won. But like Anya did a good job. Jules did a good job this season of creating a character out of someone that is a fictitious character.
Amazing.
Like some of the girls are doing it, but some of the girls, looking at the opposite of that, are just thinking, oh, I can get by just doing the visual and having one or two jokes.
Crystal Envy. That you're like, girl, you didn't know a single song, like a single one. Do you know who your father was? Not a single.
I
No.
mean,
Right.
and I would be remiss to not bring up my single least favorite Snatch Game performance of all time, being Arietti. So
I'm a baby.
I'm just
oh
a
my god, it made me
baby.
uncomfortable. It made me uncomfortable.
This is
So
weird.
uncomfortable.
But we should move on from this.
We
'cause We got a
move.
whole lot of stuff to talk
Yeah.
about.
And speaking of someone who did perfectly fine in Snatch Game, we walked back into the workroom and we lost our butthole, guys. We lost our butthole.
I've loved Lydia on this season, by the way. I didn't get to
I've
mention it
loved
before.
Lydia.
She's been great.
Okay, but like ready for All Stars immediately without ever seeing an edit of herself or being able to look at her own hair and makeup on TV? Absolutely not. Goodbye.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
with you.
not. I am with you too. I was like, wait, what? No.
She's gonna
She
eat.
needed a. I mean, I think she has the potential to do good, but I don't know if she's gonna be ready yet.
Give her a
I
few
don't know.
years.
Exactly. But y'all know what else I saw? And I was like, man, why when Lydia leaves is right when I was like, Lydia's kind of cute. Lydia's actually really cute. Really cute. I didn't think. I
Don't
thought they
come
were.
for Corey's man.
Girl, he ain't for me. Look, he ain't checking for me, and I ain't checking for him. I'm just saying, I can say somebody's cute. He ain't checking for me, and I'm not checking for him. But Lydia's cute. I was like, there's something about the eyes that I just liked. It's so
No,
cute.
if
Yeah.
Corey and Lydia are ever interested in like a throuple situation, give me a
She's,
phone call.
bro, oh my God, we move.
Unsubscribe.
Unsubscribe
Unsubscribe.
right now. Like,
I don't want
unsubscribe
it.
right now. Unsubscribe right now. But no. But yeah, Lydia was
Oh, God.
and we did see the reading Lydia's message on the thing, and Anya for me was like, and that
Yep.
is how you
Let's take
leave
note.
a message. Take note. That is how you leave a message. Period. Anya was on one this episode, and I just loved it. Like,
Me
she
too.
had me laughing this entire episode.
The winner of season 17 of RuPaul's Drag Race, on your nerve.
Period.
And All Stars 14, all winners.
Period.
We're waiting that long for another winners.
I mean, I'm going every 7 years, maybe.
Yeah, I got you. You're fine. I got what you're going for.
I don't want to wait that long. But
I
if
don't
we
know.
do, can it be joint winners, Envy, Peru, and On Your Nerve, please? That'd be great. Anyway. But everybody's sitting down. They're congratulating Anya for her win, but she's not letting the other girls see her as cocky and super confident, even though she did just get her third win. And I love to see this from her. She's like, I'm not going to let this get in my head, and I'm not going to let the girls see that I'm super confident or getting super arrogant, even though I have 3 wins, because ultimately anything can and will happen in this competition. And I need to just say, okay, I've got 3 wins now, but I need to just take it day by day. And I love the way Anya has approached this competition, because like she said, she's taking it day by day. But as she talked about several times in this episode and in Untucked, she's having fun. And I love seeing that in someone on Drag Race. She's just having fun. And we haven't really gotten a whole lot of that in the last couple of seasons. And I like seeing someone just having fun on Drag Race again.
Yeah, I think Maya is she's not taking this she's taking it very seriously, but she's not letting it be it's not overcoming her and taking over. Like, I have to keep winning. I have to do this. Is fun now. She's won. She's proven that she's a good queen, a great queen. Like, she's her point proven, done. Check that off the list. Now she can enjoy this competition, and I love that she is not going to be like, I have 3 wins, because we all know if that was the Susie Toot up in this piece, she would not quit reminding everybody that this is her 3rd win. And it's like, oh my God. She's like, I'm not going to do that, because number one, that's tacky, because these girls have not had those wins, and it's tacky to just be like, I've won 3 times and everybody else is us beneath me. She's like, I'm considering everybody's feelings here, but I know my worth. When you know your worth, you don't have to scream it from the rooftops. You just know. And everybody else will know, because they will see it in you. Now, when they stop seeing it, then you start saying it. Because, baby, what you ain't going to do is let somebody overlook your worth. And Anya is not letting them overlook how good she is. She just continues to press on and do better and do better and do better. And that's what I love about Miss Nerve. I love Miss Nerve.
I think that it comes down to age and experience. And I can only give you like the Spark Notes version of me. I was in callbacks for the real world at age 19, 21, and then again at 23. And I was so close every time. And I thank the Lord that some power above made me wait 10 years to be on reality TV, because I don't know who that person would have been. At that young age, you just want to please the camera, the audience, or whatever else. But at the age that I'm at now, I feel the most genuine and grounded and secure in who I am. That's what I think that is what is allowing Anya to do what she can do. She's like, you can give me whatever challenges you want, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to be me and do it how I feel comfortable. And I think that when you don't play to the audience, the camera, whatever else, you just do what you do, it's easy.
Absolutely.
Most definitely. And then we're getting a rehashing of the who should go home and why, or who do you want to go home and why, or why should Susie Toot go home even though she has 2 wins, and why.
I like the switching of the couches to be like teams.
I loved
It was
it.
like Anya and Susie versus everybody
the
else.
rest of. I literally wrote in my notes, Susie and Anya versus the other girls regarding who should go home. It's like, and honestly, in this moment, I am on the side of Susie and Anya.
Me too.
I am
on Anya's side.
100%. I am on. I agree with Anya. This is not All Stars.
And that's a cop-out answer, because the question is not who do you want to go home, it's who should go home. And who should go home is someone who is not doing well in this competition. Love Lana, love her down, but she was not doing well in this competition. That does not mean she's not good at drag, but she just wasn't ready for this competition this time, and she's not doing well in this competition. Lydia, love her down. She just wasn't doing as well in this competition, but she still had a win, so she was doing all right. But it's just not who do you want? Who is your biggest competition? So you want to see get knocked out because you feeling insecure about yourself? That's not the question. The question is who should leave this competition next, and it is the person who was doing the weakest. And saying Susie too, when first of all, Susie too ain't doing that great in the competition. She doing all right. Y'all hyping her head up. Y'all hyping her up like she the best thing since sliced bread, and she ain't doing all that. She doing okay. I would have been like Anya. If you would go take out somebody who doing because they competition, you say Anya because she actually is competition. Susie doing all right, but because they hyping her up so much, she believed in her own newspaper clippings and started to believe her own hype. But she ain't doing all right.
Right.
But she still ain't in that place where she should go home because she's still doing well enough in this competition to still be here. And that was a cop out to me. I was like, yeah, I'm on that side of give me Susie and Anya's side. I'm gonna sit on that couch.
I fundamentally disagree. Now I will say, do I think the answer is a cop out? Absolutely, the answer is a cop out. But I don't think they were legitimately trying to convince the judges to send Susie home. They knew she wasn't going home last week, and I think they all knew that. I think what they were trying to do was pretty simple. They were trying to get in Susie's head, and I respect that because for me, part of the show, it is, I mean, as much as it is a performance show and it is about presenting your drag and meeting the challenge to the best of your ability, there is that like strategy element that comes into play a lot of the time. And if you have the opportunity to try to mess with somebody in a way to get in their head, to make them stumble and slip up, Susie may not be, you know, actively at the top of the competition right now. I would say that would be Anya, but Susie's near the top end for sure. And if you can have somebody who's ahead of you in the race stumble and trip and you pass them, I mean, I see the logic. I don't necessarily think it was like the most correct answer. Obviously, other people have struggled more than Susie, but like it is a game at the end of the day.
I don't know, Brooke. I feel like it does the opposite. Like if I'm Susie, and especially if I'm Susie and already delusional, and I'm hearing, "Oh, all these girls are so threatened by me." Wow, I'm good.
So great.
I am so good. Like that's an ego boost, if anything. It's not going to trip her up. So I don't know. That might have
I've seen people
backfired.
trip over their own ego in Drag Race several times before. So like,
True.
And I'll be honest, I think it kind of happened. I don't want to say it kind of happened, but I think Susie was kind of gassing herself up a little bit more in this little discussion where she's like, so you all were trying to tell RuPaul that you think I'm the best and that I should win.
So what you're saying is I'm the best.
Yeah, exactly. And like what I'm seeing here is the possibility that I think Susie, no offense, not trying to say anything bad here. I think Susie almost a guaranteed lock for the finale here at this point in the season. But I could see a world where Susie gets in her head, maybe next week in the makeover challenge, or if we're going to a top 3 into the top 4, where she might have to lip sync because, you know, she's saying, I'm doing so well, I'm doing great, I can kind of just keep doing what I'm doing, and it may not work forever, you know?
Fair.
Like, I could see that happening.
Fair.
So maybe that's just me.
We'll see.
I get it.
But we go into the workroom the next day.
Can I quickly say the whole thing with Sam saying, "Oh, I'm not gonna lip sync. It's against my religion." And everybody's like, cut two.
And she was like, don't cut to me. I was like, Sam, please calm down because we cut to you lip syncing.
We all knew when the episode started, we were like, no, baby, you're about to lip sync.
You're about to lip sync. I was like, this is not happening. I was like, oh no, not my Sam, because I really love Sam. But I was like, she about to lip sync. And then I was like, and she about to lip sync to Lana, because once we started getting Lana's backstory, I was like, son of a bitch.
Literally, we saw the photos from home, and I was like, oh, she's going home.
I was like, we're losing her. We're losing her.
No.
I was like, they're not gonna Uno reverse it here with me.
I was like, there is a shred of chance, because I was like, we haven't seen Sam lip sync yet. We'll talk about it later. But I was like, we haven't seen Sam lip sync yet. I was like, but we've seen Lana lip sync. We'll talk about the lip sync. But we go into the workroom the next day. RuPaul comes in. We get a dumb, stupid mini challenge. How fun!
I love this.
I love this one.
Make this recurring, because this is cute.
I loved this mini challenge, and it's basically Mad Libs. They can't say Mad Libs because it's trademarked.
Drag Libs.
So it's Drag Libs. Okay, cool, great. Yeah,
Drag Libs.
Which they have, and I've done before. Like my partners have purchased it, and I've done it before, and it's very fun.
I love Drag Libs.
Yes.
The difference is you're not blindly coming up with words. Like you still see the entire prompt. So
exactly,
I like it. I like how it works with this.
Yeah, and it looks like they were all given like 4 or 5 different ones, and they all got to pick, which I also liked as well, because a couple people had the same like general structure. So they each pick their partner based on who they're closest to.
Who knows them
And this
best.
starts who knows them best. Drink every time Sam gets pissed off at Lexi for not picking her. Okay, Sam, whatever.
I mean, I'm like, girl, she didn't pick you. It's okay. It's okay not to be picked. But I understand, like, this is my friend, and we're closest. And I think the prompt was who's closest to who, like, who knows me best. And I think Lexi knows me best. So why wouldn't she pick me? Like, what? Girl.
I'm glad
Well-
Sam didn't drag Lexi into the bottom this week.
So my hot take is, do we think that Sam is actually upset that Lexi didn't pick her, or upset that she had to partner with whoever was left? At the end? I think, to be honest, I think it's less about who picked her and more so like who she has to work with as a result of that.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Because we're only hearing about it in confessional, which is obviously filmed after the fact. So obviously then she knows she's paired with Lana. So yeah,
Well, and I think on top of it too, they didn't get told that the pairs for the mini challenge were going to be the pairs for the Maxi challenge either. So when we're seeing, these pairs come together, and I was looking, I'm like, ooh, I'd love to see Lexi and Anya do something together. I'm here for this. And then they say your partner is the partner that you have for the mini challenge, is your partner for the Maxi challenge. I'm like, yay.
I mean, it's so good, but Sam is upset because of that. But Lexi is like, I ain't for sure 100% knew what I was doing. If I'm going to pick Anya because she is the front runner, and if she does well and I do well, I'm gonna do good, and we're gonna be good. So I'm gonna pick her. Now, was it a risk
100%.
because it still could have been a risk that, like a lot of things with Anya in pairs, Anya overshadows people because Anya's just that good. So Lexi could have been overshadowed in that moment, but she was like, I'm willing to take that risk because she's good and I want to be good, and we're gonna work this out. And I love that. I love that. And I love the full circle moments that we're having with Lexi and Anya, going from Tartgate to all that stuff to now they're like, we squashed it, we're friends, we're sisters, and we're good to work with each other. I love all of that. So Lexi was very much 100% sure what she was doing.
See, and I don't think these are the pairs production expected at all, because we've seen kind of Susie and Anya kind of sticking up for each other for the most part throughout the season. Jules has made it very clear that her and Lana are really good friends, so I think they were expecting that, and by default, and apparently they're super close friends. I didn't know until this episode, but Sam and Lexi. So I think they were expecting those to be the duos, and they're like, oh yeah, we can easily throw
Sam
Jules.
and Lexi. We've seen Sam and
that.
Lexi interact a lot. Well, there have been a couple of moments where Sam has literally talked Lexi off of a cliff. Like many times when she's been spiraling with her when we've had Lexi's inner saboteur competing for her as opposed to Lexi competing. I'm very glad now we have Lexi competing again, as opposed to her inner saboteur. But as far as the drag lives, inner saboteur. As far as the drag lives, Anya, that shady bitch. That shady. I love Anya. I loved Anya.
I honestly was like, she should win it, but okay, but she was so
would have given
funny
it
and
to
shady.
Anya. I'm not gonna lie, I would have given it to Anya.
I mean, two of them were really good. Jules was also really funny with a lot of her things she did for Susie, but I think they're like, well, it's close enough. Why don't we give it to the one that's already caused drama with who she put the order in?
My favorite part of this entire mini challenge was when you get cerebral. When you stay cerebral, you don't have to get cerebral.
Cerebral.
And how
cerebral
she
is misspelled, by the way. Like that.
I know she spelled it with an S. I know she spelled it with
Literally.
an S. I know she spelled cerebral with an S.
I mean, I want to be surprised, but like going back to where we started, it seems odd to me that the winners of Snatch Game that are good at like improv and knowing what jokes hit would still be able to do it again, except no, it's not weird or new to me. I'm like, yeah, that makes sense. Like they have proven that they have the sense of humor to make it happen. And for everyone else, you get, let's say, 8 blanks on that sheet. The last thing I ever would have done is repeated a word more than once. You just don't need it. You don't need it. These are all opportunities that production is handing over to you, and you're like, I'm gonna just use the same word 3 times and hope that one of them hits. Why?
Okay, but when Sam wrote, I still have room for penis and penis, I laughed so hard.
Okay,
I'm not
fair
gonna
for
lie.
that one. That one's
Now,
fair. That one's fair.
fierce, and fierce. No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I still have room for penis and penis was very funny. That was very funny to me.
I mean, Susie was just being a little bit
Very
cerebral with the fierce.
Extremely
So you don't get
cerebral.
it.
She was
so
cerebral.
cerebral. I just don't get it. It was so cerebral.
Yo, and and here we go back to she thinking she just doing so great in this competition. She was so wonderful in Snatch Game with Sitha and Fitha and
Scissor.
Fitha. She was so wonderful. And then we get to this and we get fierce. And I'm like, oh, Susie, you are disappointing me at every turn. Like, come on. Do better.
And then it just sucked that the last one we had was Lexi, and she had one joke, and it was, "Hi, I'm Corey King."
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I laughed at a little bit. I did it.
I did
it. Sorry.
I
didn't
laughed a
wanna
little.
I didn't want to laugh
I didn't
because
either.
me as the black woman that I am was like, don't be mistaking black people for other black people like that because they were saying, "Show we don't all look alike." And I was like, I don't want to laugh at this, but I did.
It was just funny combined with what Anya just did to Lexi.
Right.
And
It
then
made
the
me
next
laugh.
one starts like that.
It made me snicker. Mhm.
When Anya wrote for Lexi, my drag inspiration comes from Niecy Nash and Aunt Jemima.
Baby.
I fell out.
Baby.
Like,
I didn't want to laugh at that either, but I did. I was like, stop
Again.
it, Lana. I can't. My
No, I
blackness
just
was
got
on
taken
display
aback.
here. Yo,
I was like, oh, she's going full Weekend Update SNL. And I was like, okay, great. Someone get Anya Nerve on SNL now.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
just
Bowen,
yes.
give us a phone call. Like we know what you
Come on,
need.
Bowen.
yo,
Come on
but
now. Like,
Anya is so unapologetically black. It's so beautiful to see. And every week, like stuff like this, I am fighting within myself not to be like laughing at stuff that I'm like, we shouldn't be laughing at this, but it's so I love her. I love her with all of my being. That was
I'm
funny.
like, at this point, I'm like, in my spirit, I'm like, Saphira Crystal walked so Anya Nerve could run, please.
Yes.
Like, that's how I'm feeling right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, please.
If she don't win this season, I don't know what the heck is going on. I promise
But the
you.
problem is there
I
are
will
so many
riot.
good people that could win. That's the thing.
I will leave this place and I will never discuss Drag Race
I'll
again if Anya Nerve does not win this season. I'm
Yeah.
saying that now. I'm putting this on the internet. If Anya Nerve does not win this season, I will not be back here for season 18 of Drag Race. I'm done with Drag Race.
That's fair.
I will cover no more shows on the Drag Channel. I just cannot do it. I cannot
The
do it.
only way I would be okay with Anya not winning this season if she has an Asia O'Hara level lip sync for the crown moment. Like if it is that is the only way. Because at this point, right, she's the only person with even 3. She has 4 now. Spoiler, sorry. You're already watching the recap. You'll get to it in about 10 minutes anyway. 4 challenge wins. Nobody else even has 3 yet. She has only been in the bottom 3 one time, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, she has 1 low placement.
1 low placement. Everything else has been save or high or wins. Has been good in literally every aspect of this competition at different times. Has been great in design stuff, been great in comedy, been great in performance. She has just been knocking everything out of the park. And I don't think we have had a winner this dominant, I'm going to be honest, since Bianca Del Rio. Like, she has been dominating this competition.
Sasha Colby.
Other than Sasha Colby. My mistake.
I was going to say, someone directly compared Sasha's track record at this point to Anya's, and it's very comparable.
Yeah.
So,
Sasha.
Okay, what I do want to give Anya credit for is that I think we can all admit that drag is better when you have more income. The more money you put into it, the better it looks. So for the sheer fact that, like, don't get me wrong, don't smite me, I'm sorry. I love Anya, I do, but the money is not moneying in the looks.
Yes.
And so for her to still have the record she has, up against these girls that have been in it for years, that have the income rolling in and the sponsorships and the relationships with the designers, for Anya to still be where she is for a pretty low budget runway package. We could all admit that.
Yes.
That says that you have real skill and talent before the money. So once she gets the money, she's going to be unstoppable. Done.
Ooh, period.
Agreed.
Period.
Agreed.
I'll have to be getting about $200,000 at least sometime pretty soon. If I'm doing my math right, you know.
Period.
Anyway, to wrap up the mini.
But also, we said this a year ago, and that didn't happen. So I don't know.
I know.
If we can say she's going to win for sure, because I feel like a year ago we were having the same conversation.
I was here a year ago saying this same conversation about Miss Safira Cristal. This exact same conversation, and I felt so confident. I was right here, and I was like, "My Safira."
I was not as confident with Safira. I was there. I was like, "Yeah, Safira. She should definitely be there. Like, she should definitely be in that top 2." But I was like, "But Nymphia Wynn has also been eating this competition up as well." So I could see it going either way. I wouldn't be mad at either one. Of course, I will always root for everybody black. So I was rooting for Safira, and I was like, I would love that, but. We could not just put down what Nymphia was putting on the table, and the girlie was eating, and it was every single time. So,
and it felt like she was carrying the weight of a lot of people who just recently lost others, like Marina Summers, like Aurora Matrix. Like, there was a lot of like, wow, it's been so long since an Asian person won Drag Race, never an East Asian person. So I think she had a lot of that on her shoulders, and it might have had a factor in her win.
Yeah, I think at this point, to wrap up the conversation and wrap up where we were in the episode, I think there's one other person that kind of at this point stands a good shot at winning, and it is the person that won the mini challenge, and that's Jules. I think those are the two people that at this point stand the best shot at winning.
Absolutely.
But Jules does win Jules wins the mini challenge. Definitely deserved. But yeah, I think Jules is kind of the only other person that I think has really shown a very well-rounded package. We've gotten a good storyline from her. We've seen she's had a bottom placement, so we've seen vulnerability from her. We've gotten almost this, like, not necessarily villain arc, but we've gotten this like dislikability at certain moments, but then we've also gotten this likability. Like, we've gotten a lot of different sides from both her and Anya. So at this point, I think that's
to borrow a term from Edgic. To borrow a term from Edgic here, they are compelling personalities. Okay,
correct.
They are people we want to see and hear more from and experience more of them on the screen. Right.
Correct.
And I think we've had a few of those this season, and that's why I'm so convinced about my top 4 at this point. But
fair.
We'll get there when we get there.
Fair. So we find out that our Maxi challenge is the Charisma, Uniqueness, Nerve, and Talent Monologues. Wow. I wonder what that's inspired by. The Vagina Monologues.
Yeah, we've had this before.
Yeah, we know.
Yeah, All-Star 6.
Yeah, the closest thing is Pink Table Talk. But
No,
nothing like this.
We had the exact same name.
This was a challenge on All-Star 6.
Was this?
The top 5 challenge, the one that Eureka won.
Oh, I put that out of my memory.
Okay, that was a good challenge, even if the wrong person won it. Okay.
And the wrong person went home.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
But we haven't had this challenge like this.
Oh, yeah,
where
agreed.
it's in pairs. One person is giving a monologue while the other one is doing an interpretive dance.
I love that.
Now, I know that the internet hated this challenge.
Really?
Most people I have seen online hated the way they did this challenge.
I
loved it.
I loved it.
I don't know what they're talking
I
about.
like seeing something new. Like, we see so much like reheated nachos.
And I'm like, I don't care. I don't want a girl group. I don't need a girl group every season.
All right, we don't need a girl group. Screw the girl group.
And we don't need a lip sync Lollapalooza this season, which I've seen people clamoring for.
Well, Julie.
Oh, God.
Oh, no, Logan.
Get ready.
Oh.
Well.
But yeah, so we're staying in our mini challenge pairs. So we have Jules and Susie, Lexi and Anya, and Sam and Lana. And because Jules won the mini challenge, she gets to pick the order. Yay! Woo.
Uneventful.
As far as preparation for the challenge goes, not a whole lot goes on, honestly. Like, the middle part of the episode is kind of, like, honestly, for lack of a better term, milquetoast. We get Lana's backstory, which is where we realize she's going home. But we find out about her conservative upbringing.
She was a church clown.
Not a church clown.
That's what she
David.
said. She was a church clown.
Well, we're not there yet, David.
Oh.
That happens in the mirror moment later on, David. And it ruined the moment that I was going to have later, David.
No, it didn't.
David.
No, it
Bad.
didn't.
Because I was going to bring up that someone here was also a church clown. David. It's David, Phillip.
It's David.
You know what? And I was
You are mine too, Phillip.
I was the like Lexi
was-
love Anya in the mini challenge. Her what she applied to Lexi Love, that was me as a church clown, apparently. Because I was Rapture.
Oh, God.
His name was
Yeah.
Rapture, Phillip. It was Rapture.
I was a
the
rapping clown.
I need
This
that
is-
to also be your drag persona. I need it. I need it. I need it.
Get me canceled.
I need it. We need it as a country for where we are right now as a contemporary American society. We need that from you.
No, Rapture is retired.
Oh,
It's
my
okay. Drag queens
God.
come out of retirement all the time.
All the
Oh,
time.
my God.
Rapture. Yes, we've had such a good laugh about Rapture, and now I'm so glad we got to talk about it again. This is so fun.
Again.
Rapture, love it. But yes,
Sometimes I'm too open on this podcast.
so, we all
Really are.
are, David. We all.
But
are,
as soon as Lana talked about being a church clown, I was like, David. I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to talk about church clowns again with David. Ooh.
love it, love it.
But yes, we get Sam talking again about how she's upset that Lexi didn't pick her, whatever. Susie and Jules are excited that they are paired
So-
together.
so great.
And Susie is over choreographing this number.
Well, yes.
Slow it
she's
down.
over choreographing, not over
Yes,
choreogragraphing.
she's over choreographing. One
I
word.
thought you were saying she's over it.
She's over it. No, she's over choreographing. One word.
Yeah.
She's
She's
like,
doing
no,
the same
Jules,
thing
you
she
need to
did
do
in
this.
RDR Live,
Well,
where she
Mhm.
was just micromanaging everybody else.
Everything.
100%. Yeah. She's like, no, you need to do this. No, when you need to do a single turn and then a double turn. It's like, girl, this is interpretive dance, not contemporary dance. There is a
I
difference.
love how her musical theater is coming out because I probably would have been the same. That you were just
I
like
think
you
I
just have
would
to like
too.
choreograph an interpretive dance, and she's like, when I was Mrs. Hannigan in Annie Jr. in 1993, and we're like, why are we doing this? Don't do. And like, it's so good for me because I get to see it from the outside, and I'm like, you were amazing in Annie Jr. And you're like, no, that's not the reaction you should have. Instead, you should be like, you're overdoing it. Scale it back. And she just, I think for people like us, we don't know how to scale it back. Like I'm trained in like hip hop, musical theater, content, and I would be like, okay, I'm ready. And you're like, no, reel it in. We don't need it right now.
Susie gives me the energy of somebody who's seen Chorus Line like 30,000 times and has that entire opening choreography memorized, just on the chance that someone's like, hey, do you know the opening choreography to a chorus line? Like just the energy that Susie gives.
You know that girl has her entire book of sheet music and tap shoes in her trunk at all times. Her
Yeah.
backpack, she has her backup shoes ready to go at all times.
And her little
Oh,
wooden
absolutely.
square encased the floor is carpet. Like, you know,
Right.
she is
Every
ready to
time.
go.
She is the
Absolutely.
She is the Rachel Berry of Drag Race.
She
Like
is.
she literally
She
Not
is.
again.
is.
Not
She
again.
she is prepared. She is ready to go at a moment's notice. It's like, hey, do you know? Do you know the song from Annie? Oh yes, I was Mrs. Hannigan back in 1987, and like she is ready to
When I'm
go.
stuck in a day, and you're like,
Yay!
no,
No,
we don't want it.
no, we didn't ask for
Please
it. No,
stop.
I was just
Girl,
asking
we
if
did.
you knew the title of the song. I didn't want you to sing it. Like,
Are you sure you don't want me? Because if you
No,
want, I can option up. I can
no,
option
we're
up.
good.
Are you sure?
And you're like, no,
no,
we don't
no,
want it.
we're good.
I
We're
have my
good.
resume in hand. Are you
Oh, no,
sure?
it's okay.
Like,
It's okay.
If I had a nickel
Look,
for
I have
every
my
time,
F five,
headshot.
6, 7.
Right, I have my headshot here and my reels and all of like. Come on, girl.
if I had a nickel for every time I've seen someone on Drag Race get called the Rachel Berry of drag, I'd have 2 nickels, which
2
isn't a lot,
nickels.
but it's weird that it's happened twice.
Indeed.
But she is.
Her,
Indeed.
Jan.
Literally.
I want to see
Um,
her, Jan, Plasma. I want to see all of them just go head to head.
Oh my
Her,
god.
Jan,
I
Alexis
need-
Michelle, Plasma, Rose.
I want them all.
Timmy
Yep, I want 'em
Brown.
I
all.
want them all.
Just
I
go
want
out
them
and do
all.
it. Do it.
Please, I need a BFA tour. Please, I would pay so much money. I would pay so much money to see
All
it.
Stars, and all of them, all of the challenges are just filled with delusion.
It's a rusical every week. Every week is a different rusical and it's a non-elimination. Oh,
I'm sad.
You guys.
Oh,
That is
Oh, I
enough.
love
Look, that is
love
enough
it.
of this. Time out. We
Sorry,
have to-
Lana, you're
we got
surrounded by
to-
musical theater gays today.
Time out. We got to reel this back. He is real over here for 3 hours.
Meanwhile, Lexi and Anya are excited to work together. Anya is kind of taking this laid back approach. She's talking about her extreme veganism.
Loved it.
Her cult.
Her cult. I love that she's explaining it and Lexi's like, so
It's
it's
a
a
cult.
cult.
And she like, yeah, it
Yeah.
is. Yeah, it was.
And
Self-aware.
Lexi has an interesting topic because she's talking about karma and she's like, I have a lot of stories I could tell, but I'm not exactly sure what story I should tell.
Right.
And there's a bit of a moment where she's starting to get in her head a little bit. She's not exactly sure. She needs to find something that's a little bit more lighthearted because that is the direction they're deciding to go. I don't know. I understand why they chose to go lighthearted, and ultimately it does end up working out for them. I think the way that I would have approached this maybe would have been something more along the lines of what Susie and Jules did, where I maybe would have approached it a bit more earnestly. And obviously that's not what Ru wanted, but like, why does everything have to be funny haha on Drag Race? Like, why can't you have an earnest moment on Drag Race?
Well, I mean, the golden rule of Drag Race for years has always been, if you don't know, make Ru laugh. And like, and I get what they're going for. I think it's just because from the perspective of Ru, right, drag is still kind of ha-ha, waka, you know? And that's just where we're at. I don't think that's a wrong approach to have, but I think it cuts down on a lot of the room to maneuver yourself as a performer in the competition and a lot of these performance-based challenges. Yeah. Like, you either got to be sexy or funny, and there's not really much room for anything outside of that, really.
Yeah.
I loved the challenge because I think that we've seen a lot of queens that they try to make more mainstream after the show that don't hit outside of the Drag Race community. And so what I think this challenge was, and now that I've been on the other side, that I'm like, what's the real lesson here? What are producers trying to show us? What they really showed us is that we want a queen that can go on SNL and deliver a monologue, or watch what happens live and be able to say, like, tell me a funny story about X, Y, and Z. They want to know that you can give vulnerability, humor, a lesson in 3 minutes or less. And that's amazing because so many other girls can't. When they just give you a good body, a good look, a good makeup, but like, are they an engaging person? And I think what this challenge has done, which I don't think a lot of them have, is that if you want to truly crown the next drag superstar, they need to be able to be on the news, the late night show, all that stuff, and be able to deliver it and be a good interview. And I think this really did kind of work on that skill. Where do I think they could have gone more vulnerable and stuff? Yes. But if you really think about what they were talking about, let's just use Lexi as an example. Being trans and being so confident in your new body and knowing who you are. And it's so easy to get pulled out of that and really be in like such a bad place. And at the end of it, I learned that sometimes you don't have to give people the karma that they deserve. That means that at the end of it, we got to see the highs, the lows, the lesson at the end, so that everyone, drag queen or not, could say, I learned something from her in that moment.
Totally.
It's about balance, I think. And I think they wanted to see your vulnerability, but if you could also be lighthearted and, because you don't want to see anybody do an interview where it's all about being, just down and you're like, oh my gosh, this person's, they had a hard life. We get it. We understand it. We're empathize with them. All of that thing. But it's like, if I'm watching somebody on like Jimmy Fallon or any RDR live, watch what's happening live, I want them to give me all of it, give me everything. I want to be able to be like, okay, yes, that was a touching moment. I love that. But then I want it to be like, but they can switch it on to make it lighthearted and funny, and we'd be like, laugh together. And it has to be a whole balance of things, because I don't want to be known as the guest that's always sad. You don't want to be the sad guest the whole time. It's like, my life is rough, my life is hard, and da da da. And I think with drag, especially because drag is an art form, and it's and I'm not saying it like this is not a shade. Like, a lot of people look at it like a clownish kind of act where you put on the makeup and you perform. They want you to be a performer, but you have to realize the person behind the makeup is a human being, and they are a person with real issues and vulnerability. And so they are able. So I think that's what this challenge was trying to show. I don't think we just wanted to be all ha ha he he, waka waka. I think we wanted to see the balance of, you can go from being vulnerable to being funny to being, to telling a good story and make it interesting. And so I think that's what it was. And that's why when Ruth said to one of the creators, Ernest has no place here. For this show, maybe not in that moment. You can do it, but you have to know how to finagle it and navigate it where it makes sense and it's balanced.
Totally. So we see Jules picking the order, but basically she says, we want to go first. And then Sam says, well, if last is open, we want to do it. And then Anya and Lexi are like, okay, we'll go in the middle. And that's how it's chosen. And cool. So we move.
Everybody's happy.
And then they do choreo rehearsals. And all I wrote down was, Anya's confused, Sam's confused, and Susie's over choreographing. And that's literally...
Anya, when Lexi said, pull the wild hair out of her butt, Anya just turns around like, what am I supposed to do there?
It's like,
what?
This is interpretive dance. What do you want me to do with pulling wild hair out of my... Okay, girl. Okay. It's just...
Okay.
Right.
Okay, at that point,
It's like, a weird expression.
It is, because I've never heard that before. I don't know.
Oh, really?
I've never heard that.
I thought it would come to fruition in the monologue. It did not. If you're wondering.
I still don't know what that means.
Still don't get it.
No, not at all. Not even close. So we go to the workroom the next day. We get a conversation about like the topics that everyone had chosen. We're talking about triggers, and we get a conversation about Susie's upbringing, and one of her triggers is talking about alcoholism, and we don't get the full story. It sounds like Susie probably asked for some things to not be shared on TV. Respect that totally. But we get Sam kind of talking about this story being shared of Susie talking about alcoholism being part of her childhood. And I feel for Susie here. It's never a good thing to hear about that being part of someone's upbringing. So
Yeah, this is the most I've connected to her as a human.
Yes.
Especially as somebody who doesn't drink, and I have lots of reasons that I don't drink. But yeah, I just was like, wow, you actually are a dynamic person, and I can just let down my annoyance that I frequently have with you and just see you for who you are and the pain that you've gone through. And I really like when we get these humanizing moments on the show.
Yeah. It's because it felt like for me, like she was talking about, like you said, growing up with alcoholism around her. And I did not grow up with that in my house, but I know I grew up with it with in family members really close, like we
Same.
live right next door. And so I saw the effects of it firsthand, watching them deal with that. And then growing up and still dealing with it and all of that stuff. And so I'm like, I can understand why she doesn't want to talk about it, because that's a hard thing to go through and it's a hard thing to deal with. And it's a hard thing, especially if the people are still around to hear you talk. You don't even want to open that can of worms sometimes. It's just like,
yeah.
But that's a hard thing to grow up with, I'm sure.
I
And
think
it
if
was,
I,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think if I've learned anything, it's that you can tell those hard stories, and like I tell a lot of them on Deal or No Deal Island, but you can tell those hard stories as long as you bring it back to you. And so as a viewer, I can only share my personal experience, but theater kids are troubled, every last one of us. And I can only say that because I didn't like what I looked like. I didn't like being made fun of by others. I didn't like how I spoke, but on stage, everyone for once just recognized my skill and talent. And I was a good singer and dancer and performer. And that's why I decided to go on stage, because in the world, I wasn't anyone, but on stage, I was a main character. And I think that's the full circle that we were looking for that we didn't get. We saw like glimmers of it, but I'm like, no, bring it back to you. So how come your drag aesthetic is X, Y, and Z? Like, how come you feel so grounded on stage?
Yeah, I love that. I love that.
Most definitely. And then this is where we find out that Lana was a church clown.
Yep.
And I was going to bring it up.
A mime.
A mime. Professional clown.
Is, a mime is different from a clown. But
she was a professional clown and a church mime.
Right.
Sure. Yes.
Right. Yes.
And we found out that Jules did pantomime in high school, which I remember her talking about in her Meet the Queens. So I was glad we got some demonstration of it. And it was
I love this.
It was great.
It was fun. I love the demonstrations that we got from Lana and Jules. It was like, and then we got Anya singing, so we got her to make
Okay, wait. I have to stop us here. Only on this show, on this season, is literally we're getting Lana being like, I came from this church religious background and everything was so hard. And as a viewer, you're just like, yup.
I know.
Okay, Anya, keep singing, girl. That's still, we can't care about Lana. Even with our back up against the wall, she's giving us everything. And we're like, you could really sing, Anya. No matter what, like, even in the middle of the story, still.
Give me Amazing Grace, Anya. Sing it again. Like, so good. It was so good.
This is the first time I've been able to directly relate to Jules in any way. Because I did competitive theater, so I knew the pantomime kids. I was not them, but we went to the same competitions. There were categories for them there, so I would be over there doing my monologues and like doing my speaking and like living my best life. And then over there in the corner, I'd see people getting out of the box, and I would be doing their thing.
Yeah.
So
wild.
Yeah, they're really cool.
It was a good moment in that workroom for that. I was like, this is so good. This was fun. Even though it was a little, heavy at the beginning, they ended it well with that lightheartedness. And I love that. I like to see the girls just have fun and enjoy that moment.
Yep. And I kind of related to Lana too. Like I wouldn't say I did church interpretive dancing, but we had a thing at our church where it was called a human video. And basically there would be a human video? Okay. There would be a song, like it'd be maybe like a contemporary Christian song, and like our youth group at church, we would act out the song. Like we put so many hours of rehearsal into
Yes.
it. We did competitions. We went to different states with our human videos.
Yep.
It was a lot of you all probably don't know him, but Carmen
and
Carmen was a big Lana, of course, you know. It was a lot of DC talk as well. Yeah, it was good times. It was good times.
it was that girl. I was the praise dancer at my
Yep.
church. I was the praise dancer at my church, and I taught praise dance to the kids when I got older. And now I don't because I'm old and too old. My knees hurt. But I love her and human videos, David. When I got to college, I went to a Southern Baptist all girls college, and so most of the girls were girls who probably came from the churches you went to, and they did human videos, and we did everything, and they did human, and I loved it. I was like, this is praise dancing. Human video is nothing but praise dancing.
Really?
Another thing we have in common is the same thing. And so I was able to join the human video aspect with the praise dancing from the Black church concept, and it was beautiful. I loved it so much. And it was fun. I enjoyed seeing that on television because I was like, oh, this is what I did. This is what I can relate to.
I love that. I love that. Well, we've done everything but talk about the challenge so far. So I think we should talk about the challenge.
Absolutely. Because baby, what a challenge.
This certainly was a challenge. That happened.
Some of them were challenged. It happened.
Indeed. Indeed and indubitably.
So let's talk with Susie and Jules. They were first. So
Yes.
I'll start with that.
Cool.
So Susie does her monologue. She does a good monologue. Honestly, I enjoyed her monologue very much. It told the story of her spelling bee and how she was trying to get acceptance from her father. And that's all she ever wanted was acceptance from her father. So she was like, I'm going to do everything that I can to get this acceptance. And the spelling bee came up and she was very confident, like, I'm the best speller in the land. So I am going to win this spelling bee. And she was very confident and walked up to the podium, and they gave her first word, and it was air, and she was ready, like, please, you are insulting me with this childish word. What do you think I am, third grade? I am in fourth grade. I know how to spell air, A-R-E. And it was wrong. And I was like, but then all of that was all good and funny. But then when she went to, she's like, but then I looked at my father and I sat next to him with my shoulders slumped, and he said, I'm proud of you. And it was like, you did good. And then I realized that that's all the acceptance I needed. And I was like, that's a beautiful story. Beautiful story. I love the way she presented it. It was very monologue-ish. And look, she did what she needed to do for the job. She did the job that was presented to her. It was a good story, a good monologue, and I thought she handled it well. Jules doing her interpretive dance, though, stole the whole show. Like, Jules doing her interpretive dance was so good to this story. Jules let go of everything, and like, she's a pantomimer. And so she was reacting, she was doing what she needed to do. She reacted to everything Susie said. I enjoyed Jules performing the interpretive dance. I think I agree with the judges. I enjoyed Jules performing the interpretive dance, and I enjoyed Susie's monologue. I didn't enjoy Jules' actual story. The story was fine, but I don't like the way she delivered it as much. And then Susie, her dance was just so. It wasn't. It just wasn't.
It wasn't it.
It wasn't.
I don't know what it was, but it wasn't it.
It wasn't it.
No.
It wasn't it. I was not happy. And everything that Anya said about her in the workroom, like, she's taking this too seriously. She's doing this and she's thinking about it too much. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, instead of interpreting and just letting it flow, because interpretive dance is just what you feel and how the stories are telling. And she's thinking about moves, and it just wasn't it. It didn't give. I was not impressed. I was not impressed by that. My ranking, though, for Susie and Jules would be right in the middle. Put them right in the middle. 3 and 4.
I will say personally, I enjoyed, out of all the monologues, I think Susie had the best monologue for me, subjectively.
Mhm.
Because like, and my roommate and I just watched the episode this morning, so this is like very fresh in my mind. I was laughing the entire time. Susie's timing, her and Anya were the only two that I really think like sold the timing of the piece. But when Susie ends it by saying, "I was a winner," WINNOR, I
Yeah.
lost my mind. I had to pause the show. I was laughing so hard. I do agree. I don't think Susie was as good with the interpretive dance section, and I don't think Jules was as good at delivering the monologue. But what I will say, though, there were aspects of that were still passable to me. I really liked the part where we'd play hide and seek, and Susie's behind Jules, and Jules is like, I don't remember exactly what she said, but she said something very funny. It was like a nice moment.
Which is hard to find.
Which is hard to find. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that Jules did such a great job of just knowing the story to tell, because to be honest, this probably was not her strong suit. So for someone that is just pulling this skill out of nowhere, she was able to kind of give us an arc. What I do think that Susie and even Anya had more than anyone else is that you always want to make your story universal and make it more relatable. And I think that Jules had a great story if you're a drag queen or interested in drag. And Susie's story was more universal. And I think that like we all have that need to want to please our parents or our aunt or some higher power somewhere. And I do love the idea of you being like, that was an important story to me, but how can I make it important to everyone? And I think that's what Susie and Anya had, that idea of like acceptance. Susie getting that acceptance from someone else, Anya getting that acceptance from like herself. I think you need those big, huge things that apply to everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'm of two minds when it comes to both Susie and Jules, because I think they both excelled in one part of it. I think Susie really excelled with her monologue. I think she had, if I'm ranking this on monologues, Susie would be number 1. And if I'm ranking this on interpretive dance, she would be number 6. Like that's where the difficulty lies for me. I thought she was the least successful when it came to her interpretive dance for Jules, because I just think she overthought it. She was dead in the face for most of that interpretive dance. I think the one good thing she did was the kind of shadow moves that she would do behind Jules. I think that was really, really successful when it came to working with Jules in that matter. But when she was away from Jules, I don't think she was really all that successful. But her comedic timing in her monologue, perfect, spot on. It was incredible. Jules really excelled in that pantomiming, in having the interpretive dance down, really reacting to everything that Susie was saying. Obviously, Susie's timing did end up aiding Jules in helping her react. At the very end, when she was like, I may not have been a winner, and when Jules reacted, like that was my favorite part of the whole bit there. I think Jules did such a good job with the dance. Her monologue, not the absolute best, but I do still think she did a really good job. This is not a super strong skill of hers, but I do think it was still strong overall for her. As far as my rankings overall for the two of them, I have Jules 3rd and Susie 4th.
So the first one with Susie, I really liked her monologue. I thought she had a very specific story, which helped because like she had one that was the most memorable, like one of the most memorable by the end, because I could put myself into that exact situation, while a lot of the other ones, they were more broad, and some of them felt like, oh, maybe this isn't exactly how it went, but I could see this going exactly how she said. But what's interesting is Jules during this, I thought she was a little bit too literal with all of her movements. It just felt like she was completely acting it out. And that's not what I know interpretive dance to be. Like I feel interpretive dance should be a little bit more metaphorical, just like putting what you're saying into a dance form and not into an acting dance form. And I think one specific person out of these 6 absolutely nailed that. I don't think Jules did. So that actually weighed down the performance for me. But I did like it. I had it their little duo as 4th overall, but then the next duo, I liked Jewel's story. I felt she was very rushed with how she was delivering it. She wasn't giving me time to soak in what she was saying. She was just kind of speeding through. And the whole time, I wasn't getting interpretive dance from Susie. I was getting ballet. Like it felt like she was
Yes.
trying to do a ballet performance, and it was missing the mark. So I thought that was one of the least successful performances out of all 6. So that one I had 5, but it was quite a bit further behind 4.
Moving on to Anya and Lexi. Anya, okay. First, I'm gonna Lexi because this interpretive dance was so crazy, so wild, so ridiculous that it just worked. Like she took her body and used it for good. Like she's long, she has all these long limbs, and she used it perfectly. Like she was all over the place, and she was
Exactly.
tipping down and slinging up, and she was slinking around, and it was so good and like I was like, I like that. That's the kind of like the interpretive dance I want. It didn't seem like she was pantomiming to what Anya was saying. She was just like, this is what I feel when she's talking about going vegan and she's down and she's on the floor. Like the physicality of that was so good to me. And I was like loving that from Lexi. Number one, I love seeing that we weren't getting her inner saboteur. We were getting Lexi actually performing. And I love that. But then I love that she just was like, throw it all to the wall and just have fun. Just let it go and have fun doing it. And I love that. Anya's story to this was so funny. And the way because she said in the work, she's like, they're forgetting that this is drag. You have to drag up these moments because that's the show we're on. And I felt like she gave us the different levels in her voice and give us like, oh, I just want to eat a chicken wing. Like she just, she was just, it was so good. It was so good. And the obsession of wanting to be vegan and do just cold turkey. I'm doing everything raw and this and this and this. And then become a drag queen is like, oh, I can't do that because the club that I'm in does not cater to my veganism and not. That's real. It's a lot of people who are like, I'm trying to do something, but what they are doing in their life does not cater to the lifestyle that they're trying to lead. And so it's like, so what do I do? Do I go back to where I was and not happy and not healthy? Or is there I love this story. I love this story. I loved how Anya interpreted this story, and I loved how Lexi did it. Now, on the flip side with Lexi, I like this story from Lexi. I thought this was a good monologue from Lexi. I thought she gave us the vulnerability that we asked for. Made it a little humorous and lighthearted like we asked for. And the whole karma of it all. I do agree with Michelle. Where was the karma though? Like we got to that end of the story and it was like, but where was the karma? But then I was like, oh wait. She's saying sometimes people don't even deserve my karma. It's not even up to me. Like I'm not gonna go and react to this. I'm just gonna step back and let the karma hit you when it hits you. I'm not gonna worry about it. And so I was like, okay. In a interesting way, I was okay with it, but I was kind of still wanting, my messy self. I want to hear that she kind of the girl who did it got her comeuppance. I want to hear that because what you did to Lexi was foul. So I kind of that's the petty side of me, but I understood the mature side that Lexi was trying to say. But Anya did this interpretive dance really well for me. I think she interpreted well and she was funny with it and they made it so lighthearted that it just was enjoyable. I enjoyed both of their performances. That's what made it. I liked everybody else's performance. I enjoyed their performance. So they won hands down in my eyes. It was no question.
I think their monologues and performances were, again, universally entertaining, where like you could put both of those things on Saturday Night Live and it would still be entertaining to the audience in general, which I love. It helps that if you're doing it for the drag race community, they understand that, like, again, you're a multifaceted queen. That's what we're looking for. Someone who can not only give you a look and slay the runway, but also be able to host a show and be enjoyable and be able to speak and crack a joke and also know how to land the plane. That's a big problem that I think a lot of the queens are facing, where Anya could have stopped and said, and so I fell back in, I started to eat chicken wings and this or that or whatever else, and then I decided that I was never going to be vegan again. You could have stopped the story there, but she was smart enough to be like, no, I decided that like I was going to accept the fact that not everything is easy, and sometimes you have to look in the mirror and say, I am enough exactly how I am. And so she knew how to land the plane that everyone was able to listen and walk away with a lesson at the end.
Definitely, yeah. I think they both did such a good job with their monologues overall. I think Anya's, like you said, Philip, with the lesson, just having the lesson overall, having, you know, the story, the arc, the funny, like adding in, and just Anya, we know to have just such good comedic timing too. Just having all of that, and then having that coupled with Lexi just being so funny with hers, I thought was, with her interpretive dance, I thought was so good. Lexi's monologue, I thought was really strong. Obviously she talked about having a speech and debate background. I think it really, really showed here. I was really, really happy to see Lexi really shine in this challenge, both in the interpretive dance and in the monologue. I thought her timing was really, really good. I thought she added a lot of really good drama to her monologue. Anya, I think, did really good in her interpretive dance as well. I think there were a couple of moments where she lost a bit of facial expression, and so I wanted a bit more drama in the face specifically from Anya. But the clapping during the clap back moments was my favorite part. I was like, okay, you better clap. I loved it. For me, I think overall, I had Lexi at number 1 and I had Anya at number 2, but they're very, very close, and I wouldn't have had any other situation other than a double win.
Agree.
I really enjoyed both of their performances. I think they were both good in both aspects and great in the aspect they weren't as good at as the other person. I think Anya has the best delivery out of anybody in this challenge. I just personally enjoyed Susie's monologue a little bit more, but other than that, I think Anya was fantastic. Anya was great at the interpretive dance section, and I would say honestly pretty much the same thing about Lexi. I think Lexi was by far the best dancer out of the 6 people here in this particular environment, and then her monologue was entertaining. So I would agree. I would have Lexi at 1 and Anya at 2 off this challenge.
Yeah, I don't have much more to add that hasn't already been said. I agree. Anya's delivery of the monologue was the best. Like, she really sold it. She had the facial expressions, everything. And Lexi was a person I was alluding to earlier that nailed what an interpretive dance should be. She did the best of the dances of everybody. So that first monologue that we had, definitely my number 1 of the night. I kind of wish that they were switched, and I know they had already picked the order, but I kind of wish that we built up to that second one, or to the one that we got first, because when we did switch to Lexi delivering the monologue and Anya doing the interpretive dance, both of them were very good at what they did. It just felt like we put on the brakes a little bit, and I didn't want that momentum loss, you know. But both of them did really well. Their second grouping was my number 3 of the night, which might surprise people.
Okay, and then Sam and Lana. Okay. Here's what I have to say, Sam and Lana. I think they took this so seriously and so literally that it just got lost in the sauce a little bit. I think they did fine. I think they did well. Like, I don't think anybody did a bad performance. It was just a little too not engaging. Like, I wasn't as engaged in Sam's or Lana's as I wanted to be, even though they were good stories. Both of them had really good stories and good, ways. Like, I could relate and I can understand both stories where they come from. I'm like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Hearing Sam's story, I was like, living in Alabama, I'm like, that probably definitely happened. I could see them doing something like that because these people. So I'm like, yeah, that I can see them doing that, and I know the town she grew up in because it's literally 10 minutes away from me, and I'm like, yep, that makes sense in that town. I could see that happening, and it's tragic, it's sick, it's disgusting, but I like the way that she was like, but I overcame, and I'm like, yes, I am a queen, and I'm going, I enjoyed the story. I don't know if I necessarily like the delivery of the story. And the same thing with Lana's. Lana's story was great, a good story, and uplifting, and a lot of people can relate to that of wanting to be accepted by the people and not feeling like they were enough, and all of that thing. All of it made sense. All of it was good. It's just the delivery, because like Lana was so dead in the eyes a lot of the time delivering the monologue, and I was like, oh, I wanted more. I wanted more. I wanted more from both of them. And in both interpretive dances, I wanted more. I think we got more from Lana in her interpretive dance. I think her interpretive dance was really good for Sam's story. And that's when we saw the light in her eyes. But as soon as she started saying her monologue, it just went dead. And she was just like, just reading. It felt like she was just reading a prompter. And I'm like, no, I didn't want that. I wanted you to actually emote the story. I think they were fine. Not my favorite, but they were fine.
I think it really comes down to, again, what we were talking about before, age and experience. You have to know your existence in this world and know that you can tell a story that no one else can. And so I have a hard question for all of you. When you look back at Lana's monologue, technically, is she the only one that could have told that story? Because that's what I'm thinking about, and the answer is no. And so I was like, so what unique perspective do you bring? What I needed out of her, because I think she had a win that she just didn't take advantage of. The idea of church and religion and growing up in a place that literally helps 99% of America figure out who they are, that place for her instead helped her question who she was. That was actually the place that did the opposite for her. And especially when you look at the judging panel and who you had there, that was an easy get, an easy win, and she didn't take it. That I'm like, I was looking for the vulnerability of most people find themselves in church. I lost myself. I wanted to be involved and praise dancing and doing all this stuff, but I had to look around and say, everyone in this room does not want me to thrive. And that's the story that we were looking for, that we had to piece together in our own heads. Because if you actually just go back and look at her monologue as it was, that was not the story she told. And I think we wanted that out of her. So in our heads, we were like, oh, it's because she was raised at church and whatever. Yeah, but that's not the story that she told.
I like the analogy she went for, though. The maze analogy, though. I really like the pieces of the monologue that she had. I really like where she was going with it. And the bits of comedic timing that she added, I think were really good. Like, bitch, where am I? That was really, really good. And I will praise her for that, because comedy has not always been her strong suit on this season. But over the last couple of weeks, I've been really impressed with how her comedic timing and her comedic chops have improved. So I was really happy to see that. Overall, her timing in the monologue overall was not great. It wasn't a stellar delivery. And I agree with everything you said, Philip. I wanted a pure injection of Lana into this, because every single one of these people could have said that monologue, and it would have felt like it would have felt genuine from any one of them. Sam's, I liked the story. I liked that it was a personal story. It felt so pageant to me. Everything about it just felt so pageant and so pristine and so and it's a very personal story, and I get that. I just wanted something a bit, I don't even know. And her prompt was triggered is such an interesting prompt to have, and I guess that's the way to go. And she's so young that I guess that's kind of the only way to go with it. I don't know. I just think that with the prompt she had and with what little life experience she has, I guess that's the only way to go. I just wish that the delivery was a little bit stronger. And I think she was the absolute weakest when it came to the interpretive dance. I got nothing from her interpretive dance. I will say I actually thought Lana was pretty good in the interpretive dance. I think she added a lot of personality to Sam's performance. Her little like ding moments I thought were really, really good. And for that, I have Lana 5th and Sam 6th.
I guess I'll go.
I've went before you every
No,
time.
it's cool. This pairing I thought had the biggest disparity between their first performance and their second performance. I actually really liked how Sam delivered her monologue. I know that might be unpopular here. I don't think there's anything wrong with delivering it in a pageant way, because pageant queens, this should be something that pageant queens are really good at, answering questions or delivering speeches. And I think she showed that professionalism. And the whole time that she was doing it, Lana was nailing the interpretive dance. And I really like the addition of having the ribbon. I just thought they were really good. If we judge teams based on their best performance, they wouldn't have been in the bottom two. I don't think they would have been at all, because that first one was really good. On the other end of the spectrum, though, I do think that their second grouping here was the worst on both spectrums. With the monologue, it was the worst of the night for Lana, and with the dancing, it was the worst of the night with Sam. And the thing is, like you all have said, there was a lot of heart and sadness in what Lana was saying. I don't know that I got that from her vocally. Like if you did not hear the actual words, but just heard her tone, it is so neutral. And I want to hear some emotion behind that. And then meanwhile, it feels like Sam is not listening to a single thing Lana is doing. She's just out here doing her own thing, and it did not mesh well with our speech here. So I did have their first one is my number 2 of the night, and their last one is my number 6.
Yeah, I was not really into this pairing on this episode. I personally didn't enjoy really either of their monologues that much. I think the best part about either pairing was Lana being the interpretive dancer. I think she did a very good job when Sam was speaking. I just feel like Sam's monologue kind of just ended, and it didn't really have like a natural conclusion of this is this really low moment and I'm okay now. Like that's just kind of how it ended for me. I wanted more of a conclusion there than we got, because I mean, pretty much every other monologue had something like that, where even like a 1-sentence wrap up, I felt like it needed more. And then copy paste what everyone has said about Lana doing her monologue. But I will say that, I mean, I was trying to think of something nice, and I really just couldn't think of anything. I feel bad. And then even then, I think Sam was by far the weakest this week. I think she did not do well really in either facet of this challenge. I think she was the worst interpretive dancer this week. So it kind of drags the group down for me. I think if Lana had been like, let's say you swap Lana and Jules, right? I think Lana and Susie would have been safe, and Jules and Sam would have been in the bottom 2, for example. I think if you swap Sam with Jules, that could have changed that. So I don't know. I just think that these two it was the bottom pairing of the week, unfortunately. I have Lana in 4, and I have Sam in 6 for the week.
Okay, I do also want to throw this into the universe. Think about the problems that we had as viewers with Lux Noir London and Trinity their first season. It's the exact same issues we're seeing all over again. That we're like, oh, too pageanty, too put together. We just want to get to that vulnerability. And Lux, we were like, listen, the looks are fierce. The legs are good. The skin is moisturized. But at the end of the day, you're not giving us much to work with here. I still don't know who you are. And so it's kind of ironic, but not really, when you look at the next generation that are having the same issues.
I've said that exact thing specifically about Sam all season, and I'm like, I feel like she is going to have the exact trajectory of she's going to make the finale and not win, but she's going to make the finale because she's polished and put together. But I really like Sam, and I think her drag is beautiful, and she's a great performer, and she's done really well in this competition. I just don't know a whole lot about her, and I felt very similarly about Trinity after her first season. And I would like to know a lot more about Sam, because I think she is a very intriguing... I think the other thing is, I don't know that Sam knows a whole lot about Sam either.
Age, yes.
She's a baby.
I feel like it's been getting better the past few weeks. So like we're starting
I agree with you completely. I think her and Lana especially have been doing a lot of growing in this competition. And this is a very young cast as well, and I think that we've also seen, like, a lot of these girls have been doing a lot of growing on this season, as it's gone on. So I think we've seen a lot of growth for sure.
Lexi's the oldest on the cast, right?
Yes.
Yes,
And Lexi's like 33.
Yes.
Ancient.
Ancient, of course.
Ancient.
She's grandma.
and
Y'all know.
grandma. Auntie Grandma.
That just
This
drives me
season
nuts.
needed Kasha Davis levels of age so
I'm about to
badly.
say levels of age. I'm about to say we don't really need Kasha, but levels of age, yes.
Maybe
Not
her
too much.
specifically, but
Kasha Davis.
Not too
I-
much.
I said what I said.
Lana, I would love for you to go back and watch season 7 at some point and watch her in her, like, when she was thriving on the show. Like, oh
No.
my word.
You won't be that
No.
impressed.
No, I was not going back to watch
No.
anyway. No, thank you. I'm going to
Lana
stick with my
going back
age.
to watch a season? No,
No.
it doesn't matter which one.
Never gonna happen.
We did get a season 7 mention in this episode, though.
We did. We did. We
Yeah.
did.
We did. Ah,
Speaking of, like, I'm not going to be here for Look Over Here, but I just love that we got a Sugar Avery reference from T.S. Madison when she said to Lana's
Right.
dress, you show is
So
ugly.
is ugly.
I live. I was gonna say, for those of y'all that won't be here for Look Over Here, thoughts on the runway?
Sam had my favorite look by far.
But it wasn't ugly.
It wasn't
I don't
ugly.
care. I don't care. That's the point. Yeah, the worst ones were ugly, so I didn't like them. So good for
Oh,
them.
but
That's
that's
the
the point of the
category of
law.
the runway, David.
Yeah, well, I'm giving higher scores to the ones I like.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think for
in
me,
terms
as
of-
far as
Oh,
Oh, sorry.
go ahead, Phillip.
oh no, you're good. As far as the lingerie of it all, I love when you reference things, but you have to upgrade them. If you're
Yes.
gonna do the Naomi, the Naomi, like Campbell look, can you like rhinestone the hat, turn it into a bra? Can you jewel something? Can you sparkle something? Can you do anything along the way? And this, I was like, you're friends
Who said that?
with Candy Muse, so that's probably the exact dress, which is great,
It
awesome.
is
But
the
I need
exact
you to stone it. I need you to maybe make it a floor length. I need you to do like anything with it that shows that you did more than meet up with her. Take it from her hanger, put it on your hanger, and come to the runway. Like, this is the Super Bowl of drag. So for you to actually reuse something verbatim, I need to know that you have something to add to the conversation. And I think that has been her downfall this entire season. She's bringing us amazing things, but we're not adding anything new. And drag has to evolve each and every year.
For sure.
Okay, so my question is, was that because I didn't watch Candy Music season, was
Yeah.
that a pocket dress, right? That was supposed to be a pocket
Yes.
dress? Okay, so all she needed to do was make one big pocket, put it over it, walk out and strip that off and show the pocket dress. And it would have been like, oh, okay, now she has added her own little twist to the pocket dress.
Something.
Put just something else to make it her own. And I agree with you, David. Sam's dress was the best, but it wasn't ugly. So it was like, yes, it's cute. It's a cute, ugly. But I also
The
love
meat industry is ugly.
here. Sure, but I also love
If she had said that, I would have been fine with it.
Let me
Also-
finish my thoughts. Come on now. But like, I feel like she, in Sam's eyes, that's ugly to her. And I appreciate that because she is a pageant girl. She is that poised and polished and put together girl. So you saying, I'm going to put on this meat dress, that's ugly to me. That's gross. So I appreciated her outlook. sure, Susie too took it to the whole level of ugly. Like that big green Christmas tree dress was just ugly. And sure, we loved it because it was part of the category. But if I'm looking at what appeals to my eye, I think Sam's was the prettiest. But then you got Anya wearing a turkey. Come on, come on,
Mm.
come on, come on.
I think
I'm
in
here
Look
for
Over
it.
Here, the lower scores should be the people that meet the criteria the best. You should be rewarded by getting a lower score. That's how it should work.
Well,
No.
Okay, but my rankings have always been I score people based on how well
Based on
the
look.
outfit is, and also if they meet the criteria of the runway.
Correct.
Which is
And that is
why,
how I do
despite the fact that Sam Starr has worn a top 4 runway look of the season this week, in my opinion, she will be getting my lowest score this week because the dress was cute, because it was high fashion, David Healy.
well, I'm sure we'll hear all about it when you talk about it on Look Over Here.
Correct. Just to briefly talk about Untucked, because barely anything happened. They had an ice cream bar for no reason.
Sure.
For
Okay.
literally no reason.
Apparently.
The only point of contention is Susie basically says, well, Lana's in the bottom. And Lana gets mad because Susie assumed that she was in the bottom. And then Lana, the entire time during Untucked, is like, well, I don't understand why Susie is assuming that I'm in the bottom. And then we cut to confessionals where everybody else is like, well, I love Lana, but facts are facts. She's going to be lip syncing.
Those were recorded afterwards, so I get
Well,
her
yeah.
point because I do think
No, I do
Susie was annoyed because she was so confident she thought she was going to win,
Yep.
and I think she was trying to bring Lana down even when she didn't need to. Like you didn't have to go there because we already
know.
knew who the bottom 2 was going to be, and I think Lana brought up some good points when she's like, if we were being judged individually, I think some other people would be in the bottom below me.
And she was. I don't think she's that wrong about it because if it was an
No, I don't think she
individual
is
thing,
either.
it would have been some. I mean, Susie, your interpretive dance was not hitting on much of nothing, and at
Mhm.
least Lana's interpretive dance was hitting on something, and they liked it. And her
Yeah.
monologue was okay. They liked it too, but they really love Susie. I don't know. I'm just saying it could have been anybody
Right.
if they were doing it individually.
True.
But I
If
think
it was individually, it would have been closer.
yeah, I think Susie just wanted to make sure that she felt like she was on top of somebody else because she knew she wasn't winning and she knew she got some bad critiques, but she wanted to make sure I'm not as bad as you. And I think that's whole Susie's mentality. I think the closer I think somebody said it on the show, but Susie was great when she was in the lead, when she was the front runner. But the minute people started getting closer and she was no longer the front runner, she started getting a little bit too like now she's panicking a little bit. She's not outwardly just like, oh my God, but inside she's freaking out because now she is not the front runner. She doesn't do well in the bottom. She doesn't do well in the middle. She can only perform her best at the top. And I think that's what's a point of contingency for her. And so that's why I feel like because miserable people need to bring people down to be miserable
Misery
with
loves
them.
company.
Misery loves company. Nobody wants to do it by themselves. So she is not feeling her best. So she wants to make other people not feel their best.
Well,
And
let's
Lana-
talk it. Importantly,
I-
okay, Susie has not won a challenge since episode 5.
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
this is episode 12.
Yep.
And we have seen, several people have these really great opening few weeks, do really well, get into this, like, I'm the front runner of this competition spot. And then in the back half of the season, they don't have any wins or anything to show for it. And by the time they get to the finale, it's kind of like, well, you did good. You were a very solid performer this entire season. But it may not snatch you the crown. I think she needs a win badly if she wants to keep staying in contention for that crown, because now, I mean, after this week, spoiler, we're about to talk about it in a second, but, Anya's going to have 4 wins after this week. Nobody else even has 3. It's going to be hard to catch up with her.
Yeah. And Susie does apologize in this Untucked as well.
Yes.
Owns it 100%. And I do really appreciate her for that too. She was like, no, I didn't need to come for you like that. I was feeling insecure because I thought I had this in the bag. The judges were not feeling me for the way that I performed in this. and I needed to bring you down. And for all of the things you just said, Lana, and she fully owned it, and Lana accepted it, and I was like, good, love it, beautiful, wonderful, gorgeous. I loved it. So.
Earlier, Lana said, if you want to go low, I'll go underground.
It sounds familiar to me. I mean, I've heard that.
Sounds incredibly familiar to me.
I mean, sometimes we got to go underground.
Sometimes we do. But let's talk about our results. We get a pair of winners finally in a season where I think several challenges could have been double wins and maybe should have been double wins. We do get a double win. Lexi and Anya win together.
Deserved. Period.
Anya 4 wins nerve. Thank you. Lexi 2 wins love. Thank you also. Thank God. Finally, Lexi getting another win. Jules and Susie are called safe, and Lana and Sam are in the bottom 2. Lip syncing to Illusion by Dua Lipa. And as soon as the song came on, I said, this is going to be a good lip sync. And let me tell you, this was the best lip sync of the season.
I'm going to stop you there. Okay,
I'm so sorry. This was a damn good lip sync.
I'm going to say stop him, please.
It was, but it was what? Episode 1 or 2? When did we get
the Lexi and
Alter Ego?
Okay,
Alter Ego, yeah.
Alter Ego and Illusion are the 2 best lip syncs of the season.
Maybe. It's a clear number 1. That's all I know.
I mean, it's a number 1.
Yeah.
Okay, this is the second best lip sync of this season.
Yes. I will say maybe far.
Okay, then what's the second best lip sync of the season?
There's not a clear one.
Lydia Butthole Collins.
Against herself.
Boogie Wonderland.
Okay, no, disqualified. Arietti was in that lip sync.
She doesn't count. And also, I judge lip syncs differently than you do, Logan. There doesn't have to be a 2-way battle for a lip sync to be even to me. I think Lydia's performance in that was stellar, and it was iconic and everything I needed from her.
I mean, I agree with you. But,
I kind of like the Beyonce one.
You like who?
The Beyonce one.
Oh,
Jules and Arietti.
Yes.
Anyway, Lana and Sam Illusion. I love this lip sync.
It was good. It was good. I will say. I would enjoy it.
I just think that Lana took too long to preheat the oven. We needed like less of an oven and more of like an air fryer. Like, I just need you to go from the beginning. And I think she was like, I'm just gonna like slowly warm up. And I was like, girl, it's 2 minutes. I need you to go.
I think that's been Lana's situation the whole time, though. I feel like every lip sync that she does, she takes that minute to warm up a little bit, and we get a little bit of. But I kind of want her to just. I need the oven to already be preheated, and she just is like, it's time to bake. Like, come on, let's go out and do it. And she does that, but she always gives me the same thing. And here's the thing with Lana: I love Lana. It's the same. Every lip sync has been the same. It's been very sexy. It's been very It's been very sensual and a lot of moving, but not doing anything. Like it's a lot of arm waving and there's a lot of looking and a lot of pointing. And I want to juicy. My favorite part of this thing was when both of them did the dance drop at the same time, and I was like, and I liked how Lana went into it. She was like,
I've never seen that before on Drag Race, and I was like, oh.
I love that.
I love the way they did that.
That's what I wanted from Lana from the beginning. I wanted her to come out with her thing, like do your thing, because we've seen you lip sync 4 times, and you knew this going into this. You were like, if I lip sync for the 4th time, they probably go send me home, and you needed to make sure you gave them the reason to not even think about sending you home. You had to come hard, and she just came with what she normally does, and it took too long to get to where it needed to be.
I will disagree with that.
I'm also going to disagree with you.
Don't care.
Well, I mean, it's a panel. This is the whole point, is that we have a discussion.
Yeah.
And for me,
but I don't care, so it doesn't matter.
I haven't been on the recaps to talk about it. I thought Lana should have went home several episodes ago. You know, I thought she lost
You're
her
not
lip sync to
wrong.
Crystal Envy. I thought she lost her
I
lip sync to Crystal
agree.
Envy. I think, personally, subjectively, I think she lost to Crystal. And I think, had Lydia not been getting caught up in her dress, I think Lydia probably would have won the lip sync because the first
She
time her lip
absolutely
sync,
would have.
Lydia was eating. So,
Absolutely.
personally, I have not always been a big fan of Lana and her lip syncs. I think she won this lip sync hands down for me. Now, will I say, track record wise,
Yes.
I understand the situation. I get it. I feel it. Whatever we move, I feel it. I think she was great in this. I think I couldn't take my eyes off of her. Every time the camera would go to Sam, I'd be like, oh, go back. Because I was watching Lana and getting so much entertainment. Sam was good, don't get me wrong, but like, I was really feeling the Lana fantasy. Also, when she took off the pocket dress and she got in that gold bikini, I get it. I get why she sells the sex so much because she looked damn good in that outfit.
I get why she doesn't wear clothes.
Looked like a human commercial for lotion. I was like, you know what? I want to buy whatever she's covered in.
Absolutely.
Right.
It could have been cocoa butter, Crisco, Pam. I want it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
It was good. She did look good. She looked good.
Here's my thing. Oh, sorry.
No, you can go.
You know what? Actually, go ahead, David.
Mm-hmm.
We'll do the volleying. We'll do the volleying because I want to see where you're at.
Yeah, I'm more with Brook and Logan because I actually think this was my favorite lip sync that Lana's done this season. Yeah, we've seen it to a degree, but I really felt the passion. I felt the drive. The last lip sync she did, I did not feel that. I felt like she was really resigned, but it was just Lydia's error that kind of kept Lana around. But with that said, I think at some point, if you are lip syncing constantly throughout the season, at some point it's going to be like you have to like completely annihilate the person if you want to keep staying, or else we're going to get situations where like Abby OMG from Drag Race All-In, where she just kept winning these lip syncs even though she was not doing well in the season, and it just got tiring. And I love Lana, but I do think even though she technically won this lip sync, I do think it was still her time to go. It wasn't close enough, or it wasn't enough of a knockout.
Fair. I think my thing with this lip sync is I agree. I think there are a couple of other times where I think Lana could have gone home. I think this is the first time in a lip sync we've seen Lana get a song in her wheelhouse.
Yes.
And I think the first 3 lip syncs she did were very much so the same. And I will agree with you on that, Lana. I think we saw a lot of the flowy arms and very like sensual movements. This is the first time we saw stunt Lana. And as soon as we saw stunts from Lana, I was like, oh, okay, let me clock in and see what Lana's doing here. Because now I'm intrigued. Now I want to see the stunts from Miss Lana. I want to see what she's doing here. And I was really impressed to see the stunts because we hadn't really seen much stunting from her so far this season. I was really, truly impressed with what she was doing. And I think Sam did a very good job as well. I don't want to take away anything that Sam did. I think Sam did a great job here. She had all of those lyrics down. She stunted very well as well. When she got out of that skirt, she was like, oh, don't worry. I also can get out of this skirt. And I was like, you better come prepared. That pageant girl professionalism, she came prepared, getting out of that skirt. She was like, I'm not going to be Lydia. I'm getting out of this skirt. Ultimately, I think Lana won this lip sync. I understand why they kept Sam. I wish it had been a double save. I really do think. I understand that they have saved girls twice this season because of the badonkadonk. I understand. But if there was any situation where it could have been a double save, I think this is the situation that they could have done it. And everyone I was watching with wanted a double save. And I would have loved to see it.
And even realistically, too, the first save was during the premieres, and it didn't. I mean, historically, we've had these double premieres with no eliminations multiple times. So, like, I don't really count that as having saved 2 girls this season because I don't think anybody would have went home with that premiere no matter what. I think they were just going to say whoever was in there, and they picked a number arbitrarily, and they're like, but now we can make it cute and make the other lover be the one, and then, whatever.
Sure,
whatever. I think we've only really got one save here. I think it could have been a double save, and I would have been fine with it. But, like, I feel like it was just one of the situations where the track record kind of just dictated what happened here. And there was, unless Sam, like, royally flopped, there was no
unless Sam didn't know any of the words,
right?
Tripped and fell off the stage. Like, I don't think there was. Yeah,
lost her shoes, lost her wig. Like,
I mean, well, wigs being lost isn't a catalyst for sitting
that
in.
helps
already
people this
seen it.
season.
That helps. We've seen it twice.
Season, so
We've seen it twice. So that's
she's already done it, or Lana's already done it and won a lip sync,
and won a lip sync with it. So it's okay. It's all right. But yes, Lana ends up losing, and they send her home. Like I said, I knew it in the episode when we got the backstory. I was like, God dog it, we about to lose Lana, which kind of sucks for me because I don't like losing Lana's. I think Lana should be around all the time. But that's just me personally. I like Lana's. I think Lana should stay around.
When RuPaul said her name, she says Lana Jarre, and you see this pained smile come. It was honestly one of the most heartbreaking things. Like, just you could feel the pain in Lana. Like, it's so sad. She's such a sweetheart. I really like her as a person.
I really do. What I love so much though that Ru was like, you're a young queen, but you are on a way. Like, I really felt like she was like, you're good. You know you have it in you. You're just young right now. Too early. Come back in a few years. We gonna see Lana Jarre on an All-Star, I believe, and I think we'll see her soon and give her time to grow and get to know who she is as a queen, and she'll come back and be fabulous.
Fabulous. This elimination was kind of heart-wrenching for me a little bit.
Hard.
And I didn't expect it to be because, going into this episode, I figured it was probably Lana's time to go no matter what happened, really. But when Sam started crying, I thought Sam was just kind of being a bit dramatic. But then you look to the back and everyone's crying.
They love her.
And they loved her. And when you see the camera zoom in on her and she's like struggling to keep her composure, like she wanted this badly. All Stars will be calling in a few years. I have this real feeling for that because I think Lana is someone who could really benefit from like maybe a year or two worth of seasoning with that extra coin that, being on Drag Race will give you at least for that first year. You have the opportunity to get booked and blessed a little bit more. And with that extra coin and maybe a little bit more time to figure out who she is as a performer, I think she could win in All Stars in like 2 or 3 years. So,
I mean, my hot take is, as a viewer, she is more enjoyable and brings out more compassion and empathy in me than her drag mother. Sorry, I know that's a hot take, but it's just, I would prefer to see her win something. I just found myself rooting for her more than I did a couple years ago. That I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Yeah, I also found myself really, really devastated because Lana's been the biggest surprise for me throughout this season. I've really grown to really appreciate Lana. And she will be sorely missed for the 2 episodes we're not going to see her, probably. So, love you, Lana. We're sad to not have Lana for the rest of the season, but...
There's the last of my draft picks. I'm out.
David's out.
Yeah.
David's out.
Do we need this update? I really don't.
I would love to hear it.
Nothing is
Lana, you're doing really good.
I'm stuck in my middle position and I'm there. I've just been there the whole time.
Third, Lana.
I know. That's the middle position. I'm just stuck there.
Okay, well, Brandon's out. David's out. Sugar is in 6th with 62 points. I am in 5th with 64.5 points. River is in 4th with 78 points. Lana is in 3rd with 80. Kamorian is in 2nd with 104.5. And Brook is, I'm going to probably just say going to win with 122 points.
Yeah, Brook won.
It pays to have both of your girls win the challenge this week.
Yeah, it really does. And next week is Makeover, 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 makeover.
With
Parents
me.
edition.
With parents.
Oh,
Yeah,
Anya's
like,
crying in the
Emotional week
preview.
next week, isn't
all
it?
the crying.
All the crying. All the crying. And I'm excited to see it. But Phillip, we're so happy to have had you today. Thank you so much for joining us.
It has been an absolute pleasure. You guys have been nothing but amazing, supportive. I love listening to you in the car, even if I'm not here with you. So please understand, you guys are really adding to the conversation. I appreciate your work. You're significant. You're important. You is kind. You is beautiful. You is smart. You know, like all those things.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
You
you.
are look. You are invited to come back in tea time. Look, this
All
is
right,
what we
deal.
record every week. Just come
Mhm.
on.
Deal.
You're
Same way.
part of the You're part of the family now. So
We'll have
you
shared
gotta stay
custody
here.
with Michael Block.
Right, literally. Plug all the things you want to plug.
I don't have to plug just about anything. Right now, I'm just kind of working my way out of it back into just being a normal civilian, as normal as that can be. But please hit me up. Instagram, TikTok, whatever else. P Solomon 12, all O's, SOLOMON, the number 12, because I'm born in the amazing month of December. Because on one New Year's Eve, we got me. So here we are.
Fellow Capricorn.
Ooh,
Right?
Word.
And all of Phillip's links will be down in the description below. So make sure to go check him out. All of the wonderful, lovely things. Make sure to check out Deal or No Deal Island as well. We've been covering that all season over on the Cup TV. So make sure to check that out. The link for Cup TV is down in the description as well as all of our channels. Check it out. All of our links down there. Patreon, audio podcast links, merch link, all those lovely things. Make sure to check that out. And with that being said, we are going to go ahead and get out of here. So, cheers!
Cheers. Bye.
And don't forget the Ella!